Welcome to Speak English Podcast with Rory and Alex.
You know, there's this very modern, very specific anxiety that I think we've all felt. It's that feeling when something great happens, and if you don't immediately pull out your phone and post about it, it feels like it didn't really happen.
It's the tree falls in the forest dilemma for the social media age, isn't it? If you didn't post the story, did the moment even count?
Exactly. We're living in this era of constant broadcasting, but today we're doing something completely different. We're digging into a philosophy that suggests this urge to share might actually be sabotaging us.
And we're pulling this from a pretty unexpected source.
Right. We're looking at a stack of transcripts from a series called Speak English with Rory.
Which, sounds like an odd place to be looking for deep psychological insights.
Totally. On the surface, it's B1 level English lessons. You'd expect grammar tips, vocabulary. But when you strip all that away, what's underneath is this very potent worldview. It's a philosophy of silent growth.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're not here to learn English. We're here to unpack the argument that silence isn't just an absence of noise. The source argues it's a strategic tool.
A weapon, even.
A weapon for conserving energy, protecting your confidence, and, this is the counterintuitive part, actually getting more respect.
It just goes against everything we're told, right? Closed mouths don't get fed. Personal branding, be visible, be loud.
We are told that.
Yeah.
But the source frames this as a huge misallocation of your power. It's about this concept of locus of control.
Okay.
When you're constantly broadcasting, you're looking for external validation, you're waiting for the applause. This philosophy is about moving that focus internally, shifting from performer to architect.
So let's start where the text starts. It paints this picture of us all living on a stage. And I think everyone knows that feeling, that sense of an invisible audience.
Oh yeah, the feeling of being perceived. And the source ties this directly to childhood conditioning.
I mean, think about it. What do you hear growing up?
What will the neighbors think?
Behave, people are watching.
Don't embarrass me. Yeah.
Exactly. And, we're wired for that. Thousands of years ago, if the tribe rejected you, that was it. You died. So we have this deep biological need to check the room.
So our worth becomes this group decision. But the source drops a reality check here that's, I don't know, both hilarious and a little bruising to the ego.
I know exactly the line you mean.
It basically says, get over yourself.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It argues that this audience you're performing for, they're not watching. The text literally says, most people are too busy thinking about themselves to notice you that much.
They're worried about their own breakfast, their commute.
Their own insecurities. Psychologists call it the spotlight effect, right? We think we're the main character in a movie everyone is watching.
But really, we're just an extra in their movie.
Precisely. And the source isn't saying that to make you feel small. It's saying it to make you feel free. If you realize the theater is empty, you can finally stop acting.
Okay, but hold on. I have to challenge that a bit. Because even if we know that logically, we still feel the pressure. Why is it so hard to just turn off that performance mode?
It's the dopamine loops. When you perform and you get a like or a comment, your brain gets a chemical reward. It reinforces the behavior. I acted, they clapped, I'm safe.
So stopping feels like withdrawal.
It does. And that brings us to what the text calls energy economics. Because performing, curating that perfect post that burns real energy.
Energy you're not spending on actually doing the thing.
And that's where we get into the biology of goals. This section of the text, for me, this was a showstopper. It uses the metaphor of a seed.
Okay, walk us through the seed metaphor, because I think this completely changes how you look at something like a New Year's resolution.
So a goal, a new business idea, a fitness journey, it's like a seed. For a seed to germinate, what does it need?
Soil, water, and darkness.
Darkness. That's the key. It needs to be underground. It needs privacy. If you plant a seed and then you dig it up every morning to show your friends, look, a seed. What happens?
It's gonna die. It dries out.
It never puts down roots.
Right.
The source argues that privacy provides that necessary darkness.
Yeah.
When an idea is new, it's fragile. If you expose it to public opinion, skepticism, judgment, even just well-meaning bad advice, it withers.
But wait, I have to play devil's advocate. What about accountability? The idea that if I tell everyone I'm running a marathon, I'll have to do it.
That's a common belief, but the source, and a lot of psychology, actually pushes back hard. It's a concept called social reality. When you announce, I'm going to write a book, and someone says, wow, that's amazing, You get a dopamine hit.
You get the reward before you've done any of the work.
Exactly. You feel like an author just by announcing it. Your brain kind of ticks the box. The psychological tension that you need to actually write the book is released. The source says, don't let the steam out of the kettle.
That makes so much sense. You lose your appetite for the actual work.
And there's a difference between true accountability, like having a coach, and public accountability, which is mostly just seeking premature praise.
So silence preserves the drive. But there's a darker reason the text advises silence too. And this part felt a little cynical, but also probably true. The text says, not everyone claps when you win.
It's a harsh truth. The transcript is basically describing the crab bucket mentality. You put a bunch of crabs in a bucket. When one tries to climb out, the others will pull it back down.
So the source suggests some people ask, what are you working on? Because they're secretly hoping you'll fail. It makes them feel better about their own stagnation.
It's usually not even consciously malicious. It's about social mirroring. Your success holds up a mirror to their inaction. So when you share your big dream with someone who's given up on theirs, you might get subtle undermining comments.
Oh, are you sure that's a good idea right now?
My cousin tried that and lost everything.
Exactly.
Exactly. That kind of doubt is poison for a fragile idea. So the strategy the source proposes is, let results introduce you.
I love that phrase. Let results introduce you.
Don't talk about training for the marathon. Post the picture from the finish line. By the time you share it, the work is done. It's a fact. It can't be undermined.
It armors the achievement. The criticism can't hurt it because it's already finished.
Correct. It changes the dynamic from, do you think I can do this, to, look what I did.
Okay, so that covers the why. But I want to pivot to the interpersonal side of this, because being silent can feel rude.
It can, especially if you're used to being a people pleaser. If your default setting is make everyone comfortable, then silence feels aggressive.
Right. If I stop explaining myself, isn't that just arrogant?
The source flips that idea completely. It argues that silence creates mystery, and mystery is a form of power.
People can't read you. They can't predict you.
Think about a negotiation or a poker game. Who has the power? The person rambling nervously, explaining everything, or the person who just sits back, watches, and says nothing?
The quiet one, always. It's unnerving.
Because if they can't predict you, they can't manipulate you. When you constantly explain yourself, you're handing over a map of your insecurities. You're showing people exactly where all your buttons are.
You're giving them the blueprints to dismantle you.
Exactly. When you go silent, you take the map away. The source calls it inner control. It's not about manipulating others. It's about securing your own boundaries.
Speaking of boundaries, the text makes this crucial distinction between kindness and self-abandonment. And I think a lot of us confuse the two.
Oh, absolutely. This is the empty cup theory. The source is very clear. Kindness is giving from your overflow. Self-abandonment is pouring from an empty cup when you're already dehydrated.
And the text uses this visceral metaphor for trying to explain yourself to people who just don't want to understand. It calls it watering a dead plant.
I think we all have a dead plant in our lives.
Oh, definitely. Maybe a whole dead garden.
It's that dynamic where you keep explaining, no, that's not what I meant, and the other person is just committed to misunderstanding you.
But we keep watering. We keep pouring energy into it, thinking, if I just find the right words, they'll get it. Why do we do that?
It's the sunk cost fallacy. We think, I've already put so much time into this relationship, I can't stop now. But the source says, stop. The plant is dead. More water won't bring it back. It just wastes your water.
That is such a hard lesson. And that leads right into the section on starving the drama.
Because drama is a fire. And what does fire need to survive?
Oxygen.
And in a social context, oxygen is your reaction. If someone tries to bait you into an argument, they need your anger. They need you to defend yourself to fuel the fire.
So when you stay silent,
you cut off the oxygen. It's very similar to a technique called the gray rock method. Have you heard of that?
I have. Yeah, you use it with narcissists, right? You make yourself as uninteresting as a gray rock.
Exactly. You don't ignore them because that's still a reaction. You just give them nothing. Oh, okay. I see. The source puts it so well. Drama starves without a reaction.
I actually tried this recently. Someone sent me a passive-aggressive text, and my first instinct was to write this whole paragraph back. I typed it all out, and then I deleted it, and just didn't reply.
And what happened?
Nothing. The conflict just evaporated. It had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
But I do have to ask, is that just ghosting? Isn't it a bit passive-aggressive itself?
There's a fine line. Starving the drama is refusing to engage with provocation. It's a protective measure. The text says, Inner peace is louder than words. When you defend yourself, you're accepting the premise that the accusation is worth defending. Silence signals, this does not require my energy.
It's a power move, but, and this is a big but, the source warns that there is a cost to this. When you stop performing and oversharing, people notice, and they don't always like it.
The you've changed accusation.
Yes, you've changed. You're being cold. You think you're better than us now.
This is the friction of disrupting the system's homeostasis. The tendency to keep things the same. In any group, a family, friends, there's a balance, even if it's a toxic one. When you practice silent growth, you change shape and the gears start to grind.
So people miss the old you.
Well, the source argues they miss the old you because that version made them more comfortable.
That hits hard.
The old you might have been a people pleaser, always available to listen to their problems. That version of you served a function for them.
So when you stop serving that function,
they feel a loss. And they attack that loss to try and get you back into your old role. But the source gives us explicit permission here. It says, you don't owe anyone the old version of you.
That's a bumper sticker right there.
And it follows up with the line that I think defines this whole thing.
Yeah.
Your journey isn't a group project.
We act like it is, though. We act like we need a committee vote to change our career or set a boundary.
But we don't. And the hard truth is that it's okay to outgrow people. If you're moving forward and someone else is committed to staying put, you can't carry them.
It reframes losing friends not as a failure, but as a filtration system. Silence filters out the people who were only there for the noise.
Exactly. The people who truly value you will adjust to the quiet. The ones who leave are the ones who needed an audience, not a friend.
So we've covered the why, the how, social fallout, but I want to get practical before we wrap. How do we actually start doing this? Our brains are addicted to the noise.
It takes training. The source suggests starting with simple awareness. You have to catch yourself in the act of leaving your own business.
What does that look like?
It's lying in bed at night, replaying a conversation, worrying about what a coworker thinks. Your body is in bed, but your mind is over in their head. You've abandoned your own life to mentally live in theirs.
That is a terrifyingly accurate way to put it.
We all do it. The text suggests a replacement question. Instead of what do they think of me, you have to forcefully ask yourself, what do I need right now?
It brings you back to yourself.
It returns the locus of control. And then there's the shift in validation. We have to move from applause validation to internal validation.
So instead of, did I do enough to make them clap? We ask,
am I proud of myself? Do I like the person I am becoming? That's the only metric that matters. The source uses this analogy of being solar-powered versus being plugged into the grid.
External validation is the grid.
Right. And grids are fragile. If other people cut the power, if they criticize you or ignore you, you go dark. But silent growth is about becoming solar-powered. You generate your own light.
So it doesn't matter if the room is quiet, you're still lit up.
Precisely. That's why the text calls silence a superpower. It's not just about being quiet, it's about being self-sustaining. When you turn down the volume of the world, you can finally hear your own intuition.
It's amazing how much we drown out our own voice just to hear the echo of everyone else's.
And I think that's the final point the source makes. We fear silence because it forces us to meet ourselves. With no distractions, no audience, It's just you.
And if you don't like the person you are, that's a very lonely place to be.
But if you do the work, the silent growth, then meeting yourself is the best thing that can happen.
So let's bring this all together. We've looked at these English lessons and found this guide to modern Stoicism hidden inside.
We've learned we're over-broadcasting and underliving. We're killing our goals by exposing them to public opinion too early.
We've learned that explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you is like watering a dead plant, a total waste of your energy.
And we've learned the antidote is silent growth. Keep your goals private, let results introduce you, and accept that your journey is not a group project.
It's a call to be more substantial and less performative, to worry less about looking successful and more about being successful.
The most powerful person in the room is rarely the loudest one. It's the one observing, thinking, and conserving their energy.
So here's the so what for everyone listening. Why does this matter right now?
It matters because we are living in the noisiest time in human history. The default is loud. If you want an advantage in your career, your mental health, you have to be able to go in the opposite direction. You have to be able to find the quiet.
Now, before we sign off, I want to leave everyone with a challenge inspired by the source material.
Okay, what's the challenge?
For the next 7 days, go on an explanation diet. If you make a decision, don't justify it. If you have a new goal, don't announce it. If someone misunderstands you, unless it's a huge deal, just let them.
That is going to be incredibly uncomfortable for a lot of people. The urge to correct the record is so strong.
It's going to be excruciating. But pay attention. Does the world fall apart, or do you suddenly have a lot more energy left at the end of the day?
And the real question is, without that constant feedback loop, do you feel lonely, or do you finally feel free?
That's the question. We hope this deep dive gave you some permission to turn down the volume on the world and turn up the volume on yourself.
Choose peace over noise.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Take care.